Welcome back to Up North at 4. Jeff, how are you today?
Having a great day so far.
All right, well, we will get into what we're going to be doing this weekend in a little bit.
Okay.
But first, we're going to talk to a local author. Darlene Machtan, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity to chat with you.
So, your book deals with some very complex issues. Daddy's Long Goodbye. Tell us about this book.
In 2012, my father could no longer live alone, but he thought he could. And it became really obvious to me and the rest of the family that we were going to have to do something because he couldn't live independently anymore. So he eventually decided, after my husband and I offered to open our home to him, that he would come to Rhinelander. And he was born and raised in Marshfield, Wisconsin. He rarely left that area, and moving to the North Woods was like moving to a completely foreign country. Just a different thing. No farmland, crazy lakes, snaking roads, everything that was so unusual, and none of the people he knew, none of the landmarks he knew. So it was really hard on him, and we tried to make him feel as welcome and assimilated as possible. He was dying of kidney failure. He had stage 4 renal failure, and I knew that he had a limited amount of time left. His physician said 6 months with dialysis, or 6 months without, 12 months maybe with, and Dad said, no, I'm not going to be hooked up to a machine. I'll just live my life the best I can with the time I have left. So we thought it was going to be a relatively short-term arrangement, but in actuality, my father lived for 2.5 years before he passed, and I attribute that, of course, to the excellent care that I provided. But I think in reality, he just was a tough old guy, and he was determined to live as long as he could. And that was both joyous and problematic for us, because to have an elderly person in your home, even when it's family, it's very difficult. And caregiving did not come naturally to me. I've never been a mother. I've never provided care. Way back in high school, a guidance counselor said I should be a nurse, which would have been the most abysmal thing that could have happened to the medical community. So absolutely wasn't a good fit for me. But because I had such a close relationship with my dad, I was the logical person in the family to do it. And it was both a joy and a hardship. Eventually, he could not live with us anymore. His health was failing. Frankly, my marriage was suffering because of the stress of having Dad with us, and I convinced my dad to move into Grace Lodge, and he moved in on his birthday in November and passed April 26th the following year. So he was provided with amazing care I couldn't have given him, but it was very, very hard to have that discussion and to make that decision, and it's one that I think was pebbled with regret. However, after writing the book and reassessing and kind of this cathartic experience, I feel like it was the right thing to do. And the book is written for other people who are in the same situation, who are trying to figure out, what should I do for my elderly parent? What's the kindest, most loving thing? How can I provide the best care possible?
Well, again, that book is Daddy's Long Goodbye. You can find it on Amazon. Darlene, you answered almost all the questions I had. But I do want to address one more thing that you mentioned in the book. When you decided to bring your father from your own care to the care of the nursing facility, he kind of made a joke, is that right? That you're trying to get rid of him. And yeah, tell me about that.
The nursing home manager said, well, Laverne, what brings you here? And Daddy said, she's kicking me out. And I think my heart broke into 5 million pieces that day. And then he looked at me and he said, she's got this big consulting job. She's all over the state with all these schools, and she thinks I can't take care of myself. So if it makes her feel better for me to live here, I guess that's the way it is. But that was a tough discussion.
Yeah, Darlene, as somebody with aging parents, both my sister and I, that gives us anxiety. Does this book help with anxiety?
Very much, I hope. That's its whole purpose. And it's not just a sob fest. I know a lot of people say, I don't want to read anything that makes me cry, but you'll be crying one minute and laughing the next, and you'll be like, oh my God, that's something my mom would do, or that's something my dad would do. And the whole purpose of it is just to make people feel less alone and more confident in the decisions they have to make. Because this baby boomer generation is making these decisions left and right, and it's a lonely place to be.
Well, Darlene, I love highlighting some talented people in the Northwoods. You are certainly one of those people. Thank you so much for coming on. Again, your book is Daddy's Long Goodbye. It's available on Amazon. Darlene, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.